Good evening, everyone. My name is Ola Wojtkiewicz, and I'm Executive Director here at Creative Edinburgh. And as Zoe said, we are an arts charity dedicated to supporting freelance creatives from across all 16 creative industries. We also look after micro businesses and startups working in the creative industries. We do that through events like tonight, but also through loads of different collaborative initiatives, partnerships. We have a busy mentoring program. We've got loads of resources. And we do organize annual Creative Edinburgh Awards, which is happening on the 15th of November. That's a good date to remember. And we'll talk about that maybe later a little bit. We are here tonight with, I think, at least eight out of 11 different festivals based in the city. This is a very unique collaboration which we have initiated just over 2 years ago with Festivals Edinburgh, and Julia will talk about Festivals Edinburgh in a minute. We thought it was really important to fill a gap which we thought has existed, and that was that kind of gap between beautiful, globally famed international festivals and the grassroots community and freelancers in particular who contribute immensely to the success of the festivals in the city. We wanted to bring those two worlds together a little bit more, and especially to enable artists, makers, technicians, community engagement experts, all the creative freelancers to better understand the festival, to know who the people are in the programming teams and community engagement teams and technical teams. And we wanted to allow those two worlds collide a little bit better, and so we created Making Festivals Happen series, and that's why we're here tonight. So I'm really hoping that this brings loads of value to your own professional careers, and I'm going to pass over to Julia, who will explain a bit more.
Thank you, Ola. I'm Julia. I'm the Director of Festivals Edinburgh for one more day. This is my last official function, and I couldn't be more pleased, to be in this room. Yeah, that's what I was after. Thank you very much. Because of the reasons that Ola has said about the way that the city of festivals, the festival city, it functions because we are the kind of bit of the iceberg that people see above the waterline. But of course, it's everything that happens in the whole ecosystem that we amplify, but we depend on. So thanks everyone for being here today. As we are a sort of small NGO. We're not a charity, but all of our members are charities or not-for-profits, which are the 11 major international festivals based in Edinburgh. And we were founded about 15 years ago now to bring those people from the teams together and look at exchanging learning, developing collaborations, developing the system in areas like programming and environment and marketing and other areas that you've talked about, Ola, that we've had events in the last couple of years around. So tonight, this year, we had our colleague Helen True on our team for the first time. And Helen worked with the community engagement teams of the festivals to say, what is the kind of area that we would like to focus on? And then we came to Creative Edinburgh to say, everybody's thinking about the people that work within socially engaged work and in community settings. And the importance of those people and the visibility of those people. So we know that this is just a start. When I was thinking about the fact that it's, to say the least, it's not an easy time for community organisations or cultural festivals, but particularly for creative freelancers. And so when I was thinking about why are we doing this now, the thing that came into my head was actually something that Christine Devaney from Curious Seed did during COVID, that some of you will have been in probably, and certainly some of you will have seen. And that was the big happening in Holyrood Park, which she called Something for the Future Now. So, today is going to be something very introductory, and but we hope that we'll be doing something for the future now and sowing those seeds that we'll be able to reap in years to come. As I said, I am leaving Festivals Edinburgh after 9 years tomorrow, but I'm absolutely delighted to say that my successor, Laurie Anderson, is here tonight. So she is definitely going to be kind of tending those seeds and watering those seeds. And I'm not going very far. I'm just going to be working independently for a while, so I also hope to be around in some different capacities to see how it all flourishes and help it all to flourish. So again, thank you so much for everyone giving up their time to be here tonight, and we hope we have lots of exciting and beautiful conversations.
So the thing we're most famous for is the festival, Edinburgh International Festival, Children's Festival, which this year will be the 35th in May. Yeah, we're getting on a bit. That will run from the 24th of May to the 1st of June, 2025. This year we will be programming and presenting 12 theatre and dance productions. We also open the festival with a big free day for anyone in Edinburgh at the National Museum of Scotland, a big family day that we curate through call-outs, which are open just now, so please check out our website. We also have a delegate programme. We usually have around about 300 delegates from around the world. I think the last festival was about 20 countries. We do things like present works in progress of artists in Scotland who are experimenting with new works for children. And then in partnership with the National Theatre of Scotland, we have a project called Theatre in Schools Scotland, in which we take every academic year 2 to 3 theatre or dance productions right around Scotland. So that could be places like Iona Primary School or Orkney, both places I've lived, or it could be Hamilton and Rutherglen or the Borders, or and we would do a call out every year looking for new productions for that one. And we also do some associated tours. So if you already have funding for production, we'll help you get it into schools. The next thing is more to do with my programme of work. And that's a year-round programme for artists and freelancers based in Scotland. So we do things like projects, development projects to make new performances, residencies, workshops, international exchange and festival visits. We have a permanent offer of Go and See funding to see shows in Scotland. We have hot desk space, and we are available if you want advice. So for example, if you're never made work for children and you're thinking, I make shows, what would it be like to make a show for 0 to 18 months? Come and talk to us. Or you're already doing shows for children and you want to do a funding application and get some advice, then please come and talk to us. Then we also have a whole programme of work that we do with communities. And the biggest community for Imagine is schools. And that's because schools are where we reach a really broad demographic of children who live in Scotland and Edinburgh. We have in our schools programme a teachers club, which is a bit like a book group, but for teachers. There's Em at the back is one of our teachers. She'll tell you the truth about Teachers Club. So we go and see another unplanned exit there. So we go and see shows. So for example, we're going to see Run Rebel at the Traverse next month. We'll have a pre-show discussion with members of the creative team. We'll then see the show, and then probably there'll be a bit of networking. We do a bit. Our main communities project is called Creative Encounters. And this is a 3.5-year project we're doing with children in Edinburgh, focusing on children's rights. So the premise of the project is what happens when we give children the money to commission the artists instead of our selection panels. So at the moment, we're just going into year 3 of that project, where 3 performances at our family encounters day will be commissioned by children. So the artists apply, the children shortlist, they have a budget to invite 3 projects to come and pitch to them in person. Particularly scary pitching session if you haven't done it before. And then the children will pick the one they like best, and then they'll work with those artists to make and present the work. In terms of how we work with freelancers, we are small. But we usually take on freelancers for projects. Usually we advertise those. And we have a number of festival positions, mostly in front of house and technical, behind the scenes, of people that we take on during festival. And I know we have worked with people from previous Creative Edinburgh events. So that in a nutshell is what we do. If I did have the clicker, I would go back to the first slide, which has my email address on it, because what I would say is, please get in touch if you have any interest or you just want to ask more questions about what we do. And hopefully I will meet some of you as we come round. Thank you.
Hi everybody, as Zoe said, my name is Caroline Donald. I'm the Head of Discovery and Participation for the Edinburgh International Festival. My job title is as fun as it sounds. I genuinely do believe I have one of the best jobs in the festival, if not the industry, because whilst the artists that we work with get to play on stage for our audiences, me and my team get to play with our audiences. So the Edinburgh International Festival, if you don't know who we are, I'm really sorry, my festival colleagues, we're the original festival. We're the OG, we were here first, but we're also the reason why we're all in this room today. So coming out of the war, the Edinburgh International Festival kick-started Edinburgh as a festival city. Our place within that is now only a small part of who we are as a festival city. We are a multi-art form festival. We're a curated festival. So every year we curate and seek out world-leading artists across opera, music, dance and theatre. And we invite them to come to Edinburgh to present their work for audiences here. And in doing that, we... Where's Sunniva, my colleague? She's here today. She's our Community Connections Manager. I told her I was going to say this. This is my favourite way to describe the reason why we do what we do. Our artists on stage, their preoccupation as an artist is the live moment. For me and my team, our preoccupation is the legacy of that live moment and creating pathways to and from those live moments that we create year on year, and every festival is different. So, just trying to recap where I was. So across what we do in discovery and participation, we're a very small team and we work across 3 connective pathways. So we have youth connections, community connections, and industry connections. And you'll see I'm using the word connections a lot. The 3 core values of the Edinburgh International Festival are discovery, connection, and internationalism. And we like to imbue those across every single thing that we do, both on stage and across the connective projects and pathways that we produce. This slide shows you what my team of 4 achieved this year. But that is only down to the fact that we have a freelance family of artists and project assistants who work with us to realise that and to make those connections authentic, meaningful, and to have legacy. So how do we work with artists? And how do we work with artists across all of these pathways? And I suppose it's in 2 different ways. First of all, we try as much as we can to work directly with the artists that we're presenting in August. If those artists are coming from Australia, that's not always easy in March to do something with them or to create a long-form project that we're working with them. If we're working with Scottish artists who are in our programme, that's a little bit easier and we can create a long-term residential project with Scottish artists in that way. But a lot of times in working with our established artists, we seek out, I suppose, leading specialists across the Scottish and UK sector, leading opera artists, music, dance, theatre, who we can work with to connect them with their international counterparts who are bringing a production to the stage. They can share practice, and I like to call it the pyramid model of engagement, where we take the inspiration from the presenting artist, we collaborate with local and the presenting artist to come up with a project and a concept. The Scottish artists then use their creativity and autonomy to deliver said project and make those connections, and the audiences have a direct pathway to the live moment. Hope that makes sense. And the other way that we connect with artists is for those who are emerging into the industry. We have a traineeship in discovery and participation, which is quite a unique opportunity. We've had funding for it for 2 years, and we've got it on pause to recruit again because we need to wait for more funding. But for those wanting to enter the industry and wanting to work across social impact or in communities, it's often really difficult to get a foot in the door, particularly if you have any barriers to entering the industry. So I created this traineeship so that it could working across all art forms, working with communities, working with young people, doing administration work, doing facilitation work, giving a whole view so that entering the industry, that trainee had the best start possible. So our trainees are just finishing, but if we're recruiting for that again, it'll go out through all the normal portals. And again, we often recruit and seek out project assistants to help with us on a temporary basis specific to a project. So again, we do that through the normal recruitment portals, but with the more established artists that we work with, often it's because we'll have a contact or someone will know. Not all of us can be an opera artist. So, you know, we seek out people with individual skills and talent, but we don't know everyone across the industry. If, you know, we need to meet more people and make those connections for projects. And then, of course, we have employability across the rest of the festival. As Fiona said, a lot of the recruitment we do with freelancers is across front of house, production, audience experience. That is the sort of bigger, wider way that we make connections with freelancers across the industry. Next slide. So community connections, this is just a little example of a couple of projects we've got this year and a couple of the spaces that we've worked in. Sunniva and I will both be at the tables and she'll be able to speak a lot to these projects because she's been leading on them. So we've had a VR experience this year and we're just about to launch our Dementia Friendly pilot project as part of our residency in Broomhouse Community Hub. That relationship with them is going to be ongoing over 18 months, and we're just developing that from a point of listening right now. And another project that we did this year was with 2 different prison settings, working with families to create animations with emerging animators from Edinburgh College of Art, giving them their first job in the industry. So again, where we can, we try and imbue opportunities for everyone. Recruitment pointers. So finally, to surmise, I was asked to say, what do we look for when we're looking for an artist? For me, the biggest key thing is someone who wants to be in the space we are in with us. So in that community centre, in that hospital setting, not somebody who wants to be on stage, not somebody who wants to be in the programming team on a programming visit, somebody who genuinely wants to be there and connect with people through our creativity. We look for people who've got a genuine passion and who want to work with us, the Edinburgh International Festival. Sunniva and I will both be at the tables going round, so looking forward to chatting to you more. I could be here for days, I better shut up now. Thank you very much for listening.
Good evening, everybody. Giles, Agis, Edinburgh Festival Carnival, Edinburgh Jazz and Blues Festival. It's a privilege to be here. 8 seconds, 9.9. 5-minute pitch, give an overview of the flavour of your community work and how you work with freelancers. In 5 minutes? Okay, we try. Rather than talk to you, I'm going to show you a quick 1 minute, 16-second film. So if we could proceed, please. Thank you, Elijah.
You know what I really miss? I miss when we used to have, when the...
Carnival brings all communities together and it's a very open stage. The street is your stage and I feel that it's a way of sharing cultures, sharing histories, traditions, but also in a vibrant and safe place.
I love the music, I love the vibe, I love the high energy. It's absolutely amazing. Like, yeah.
There's people from all over the world. So that creates a really nice buzz with everybody.
This is a great occasion where different cultures come together and people get to see them and people get to see music and dance from a very different part of the world, many different parts of the world. It's great.
You can see that everybody is integrated here and that's the way it should be.
Really do like the parade when everyone's walking. It's good vibes, music, drums, everyone. Yeah.
It just reaffirms how many different pockets of culture there are here in Edinburgh.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about data and how data kind of informs our employment strategy, informs the way in which we work with communities, informs the way we work with creatives. So this is a bit of data, pie charts. This is a bit of data. After we did our monitoring for 2024, we came up with some baseline figures. When you're going through the process of working with children and young people over a 20-week program, you're not always thinking of your baseline figures. You're thinking, what's happening with that freelancer? Are they okay? Where's the disclosure checks? Is the insurance in place? Have we done the risk assessment? Yeah. So it came up with some quite interesting perspectives. And these kind of things inform what we look for in the next year. So when it comes to, let's say, gender, we worked out that we were working with 82% children and young people who define themselves as girls and women. Therefore, my question for 2025 is, I'm interested in proposals for artists and creating with boys and young men, which we're not reaching. So how is that informing our equality, diversity and inclusivity strategy? When we look at disability, we look at 91% non-disabled. Even though we actively engage with disability groups and groups who are neurodiverse, again, going forward to 2025, I'm interested in proposals that look at that. When we look at our ethnicity and our cultural makeup, we can see that we are working with a broad range of people with protected characteristics. So we're always thinking about how can we be informed? Where can we be working in a much more constructive and a much more defined way? So again, we invite proposals from creatives that assist us in achieving our equality and diversity and inclusivity goals. This then feeds into what we call a SEAP, a Single Equality Action Plan, which looks at the actions we're going to undertake in any year that allows us to achieve our diversity goals. And it's really interesting because many of the freelance artists we work with actually come from the communities we engage with. It's bottom up and it's side in, it's not necessarily top down. However, saying that, when you get a really interesting proposal from an artist, you try to see whether you can broker a relationship with the community organisations we work with. Okay, so there are 3 areas of work we work in. The power of 3. The church got it right. Yes, we can. Just do it. You know, the power of 3. So there's 3 main areas in which we work. One, our children and young people's program over a 20-week, which leads up to the carnival, which what you saw just 30 seconds, which is a 1 minute 16 film, see it online. The second one is the carnival itself, which is a celebration of the city's diverse communities. Oh, I'm 12 seconds over. I'm going to finish now. And the last aspect of it is our international development work. We work with emerging and with creative professional artists. Just by the way, could you put your hands up if you've ever been employed or been on international exchange with us? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So Rufio, Cuba, Olga, Brazil, Chris working with Circus, Elijah, Cuba. So there's a range of different opportunities that we provide, not only for working in the sector, but also for your continued professional development, because that is as important as the employment we offer. So thank you very much, and I hope you watch the movie at some juncture in time. Thank you.
Hello everyone, quite a bare bones presentation from me. But hello, I'm Paul Ridd. I'm the CEO and Festival Director of Edinburgh International Film Festival. I came into post at the end of last year, and for those of you who've been sort of based in the city and know the festival well, the festival is one of the oldest in the city, and it's existed for sort of 77 years. So when we came in, when myself and my team sort of came into post, what we knew is that we really needed to establish ourselves and relaunch the festival and honour that tradition and honour that legacy whilst also doing something a bit new and different. So I come from a film distribution background. I used to work in acquisitions for film distribution, and my team is made up of people who've worked with the festival before, or people who are new to festival work, or who've worked in other festival backgrounds. So it's quite a broad range of people working in the core team. But the first few months of this year were about building that team, and then while we were doing that, we were also building this first festival that we just did in August, which went off very well. And we were sort of thinking in that first part of the year, how can we be different? How can we stand out? So in the international film festival world, there are lots of very big festivals that cater to lots of different tastes and show lots of different types of world cinema, lots of different types of films. And we wanted to be a part of that conversation and to be part of that process and show as many different films from as many corners of the world as possible and honour that international part of our name. But we also wanted to offer something which was unique and different for a UK film festival, in that we wanted to present a number of world premiere films, feature films and short films that would be competing for quite significant prizes. So what we know for creatives like yourselves, it is a very difficult time. It's a very difficult time to get films made, let alone films seen. So we knew that at the core of what we were trying to build was this competition which would have a meaningful prize attached to it, where we would showcase new work from new filmmakers or established filmmakers. It wasn't just about first-time or second-time feature or shorts filmmakers, but would give them that opportunity to present their work in an amazing context, whilst also having that incentive of a prize and significant press and audience sort of exposure. At the core, I'm going to lean on a 3 as well. At the core of what we're trying to do is these 3 governing principles. The first is audience, which is absolutely vital to any kind of film, big or small, I think. You know, it's a crucial element of what work gets seen, what work gets made. And then there's industry, which is a very core part of what we're trying to do. We're trying to lean into this production boom that's going on in Scotland and also cater to the difficulties of independent filmmaking for creatives and for people across the film industry, and also fun. So we wanted to make something that was fun and appealing and exciting to audiences and to creatives, to filmmakers, to writers, to editors, to producers, to commissioners. We wanted to create a moment, a 7-day period, where people could come and have a very useful experience with us as an audience member, as a member of the industry, but also to have something that they could go away with and have really enjoyed. So with that in mind, we built this competition program. We had an out-of-competition program as well, full of lots of movies from all over the world, various shorts programs, and also an industry program across the first weekend of our festival. And we catered to lots of different perspectives and lots of different folk who work in film and lots of different audiences, and enabled them to come away from that experience, I think, with something that feels like it is part of a lineage connected to the very prestigious festival that we're inheriting, but also which felt quite different and new. So just to give you an example, our winning film in our feature film competition, The Ceremony, which is a low-budget film made by a filmmaker called Jack King in Yorkshire, it won the 50k prize, and essentially with that prize, Jack King's been able to sort of cover a significant part of the budget of making that film completely independently, and get a chance to show the film directly to audiences and take part in a competition which was ultimately decided by audience vote. So there's that vote of confidence from the audience. And also he and all of our other filmmakers had an opportunity to mix with and meet lots of different people from across the industry, from future producer partners to commissioners to all kinds of creatives from the film industry. However, there was one other core part of what we were trying to do, which was about trying to embed the film festival into the wider festival landscape during August. So we have this very distinct intent from the beginning to make sure that the festival didn't feel like it was hermetically sealed, so that it wasn't just sort of isolated and a film festival that was catering to an already existing audience for film. We wanted our films to show in non-traditional spaces, so we used spaces at Summer Hall, we used 2 university venues, we used Tollcross Central Hall to show films and to do kind of in-person conversations with amazing creatives like Thelma Shoemaker and Gaspar Noé and Alex Garland, and also used the cinema space at the Cameo. So it was about trying to kind of really embed the festival into non-traditional space and to work with other organisations across the Fringe and across other festival partners to really make it feel like it was part of this wider fabric of all the amazing stuff that's going on in August in Edinburgh. That has a sort of twofold purpose. On the one hand, there's the idea of getting to a new audience, so we were able to sell tickets through things like the Fringe app and appeal to people who were going to see other shows within the kind of wider festival matrix in August, but also it enabled those creatives, those first-time filmmakers, those shorts filmmakers, those folk across the industry to also encounter work outside of the film industry space. So to be able to go and see other shows and mingle with other creatives, because we're also very aware that a lot of people working in film aren't exclusively thinking of themselves as the next sort of big auteur. They're also thinking about what is the next TV I'm going to make, what's the next piece of podcasting I'm going to make, what's the theatre I'm going to make. So we try to appeal to that, and it's baby steps, it's our first edition in this new iteration, but appeal to that cross-arts principle, which I think sort of governs our decision-making and makes us, I think, quite unique. In terms of directly working with freelancers, we have a large team, particularly during the festival time, of people who are working over all sorts of areas of the festival, so across marketing and distribution and ops and all those things. But there's one thing that I feel particularly proud of, which is that this year we opened for submissions back at the beginning of the year for filmmakers from all over the world to send their films to us for consideration, and we received 2,500 submissions across shorts and features, which is a lot of films to watch and consider and narrow down to a 40-film programme. And we worked closely with a variety of people from the University of Edinburgh, from Edinburgh College of Art, from the NFTS, and from other kind of film schools and educational institutions, both in Scotland and wider afield in the wider UK. And we employed them to be submissions viewers, so to get their first experience, many of them, of actually watching films for consideration for a film festival. So it was amazing to have that team. We had 17 people in the end doing that, so it was giving that opportunity there, which is great. And then just to wrap up, in terms of what we're doing in terms of kind of like involving the local community, we're working on our programme of what we want to do in the interim before the next edition in 2025, seeing what we can do in terms of collaborations with local cinema and so forth to put together screenings outside of our normal sort of festival pattern. But we're very, very keen fundamentally to find Scottish creatives as well to showcase their work, to work with them on the curatorial side. So please come and speak with me. Cheers.
For those who don't know, the Book Festival is one of the younger of the festivals. So we celebrated our 40th anniversary in 2023, so last year, so we're 41. And we are a book festival, but we're also a festival of ideas, and in terms of kind of freelancers and who we work with, although obviously a lot of our work is with authors and with illustrators, we do work kind of cross art form as well. And in fact, Outrun, which was obviously on at the film festival, was the original adaptation of that, kind of came out of a book festival event because it came from a book by Amy Liptrot 10 years ago, which is amazing to see that it's now just had its premiere at the film festival. So we do work kind of across mediums and with lots of different artists as well. In terms of our communities programme, again, the big three, we have three strands. So we have Citizen, which is our project that kind of works really, I suppose, at a hyper-local level in the city, and that is really about being, we want the festival in August to be a festival for the city. I think quite often all of the festivals, particularly the August festivals, get kind of a bit of criticism levelled at them that they're for tourists and not for Edinburgh. And I think hopefully tonight, seeing the kind of work we're all doing in communities throughout the year will dispel some of that. But particularly from a book festival point of view, we really want to be a festival for the city and the people of the city. So we do that through working in partnerships with a lot of community-based organisations and putting writers in residence and illustrators in residence into those settings and working on a long-term basis. So Citizen's been running for 5 years, and we've got participants who've been part of that project for the whole 5 years, still working with us, which is amazing. And we do go out and do, I guess, what might have been called traditionally outreach in that project, but the real crux of it is about bringing people into the festival. So they come and they perform the work that they've created throughout the year, and they also come and be audience members with us. When they come to be part of events as performers themselves, as writers and as illustrators, they get the same experience as our professional authors in the programme. So they get to come to the VIP authors area, which they all love because they get free food and drink all day long. And in terms of the way we actually present the events as well, they get exactly the same production values. And that's really important to us, that actually just because you're not necessarily doing it as your professional job doesn't mean that the way you're showcasing your work should be any less important than anyone else on our stages. And within the Citizen programme, we work with both adults and with schools. So we've done an amazing project. I don't know if it's going to... Oh, there we go. Here's some photos of some of our community's work. Oh, no, I've gone too far now, look. And I don't know if there's a photo. Yeah, it's the top right-hand photo there, which looks slightly odd. We did a project for the last couple of years where we've had young people create their own planet called Planet Citizen and really imagine what the future will look like. And then we've brought in professional visual artists to work with the young people to design it and created a very odd, often immersive experience. So we're working in kind of lots of different ways, as I say, lots of different art forms. The second strand of our work is called Story Nation, and that really is about us going out, and we work in with partners in environments where the people we're working with just won't be able to come to the festival for a variety of reasons. So we work with the Sick Kids Hospital very closely. We take authors and illustrators into prisons, into care homes, and we have a long-term relationship with Christopher Dementia Care as well, Dementia Project, I should say. And a lot of that, in terms of the participants we're working with, is kind of one-off sessions, but the partnerships are very long-term. So the Sick Kids we've been working with, we started trying to work with them in 2020, and funnily enough, it was quite hard to get into a hospital then. So in terms of delivery, it was 21 when we started working with them properly. But the point of that project is really about bringing the joy of the festival to people who can't come and be with us during the festival. And we also have a digital strand within that programme. So we stream some of our events to a cinema in Abercrombie called the Burke Cinema, which is amazing. And we're starting to kind of grow that part of it as well, the digital programme. So we'll be working with more libraries over the next couple of years to kind of stream different events into libraries as well. And then the third strand, which doesn't really have like a fun title, we just have young people as a strand, but most specifically it's young people who, for a variety of reasons, aren't kind of engaging in any kind of formal education. So we have a writer in residence as part of that project based at Spartans Football Club, which I realise isn't maybe where you'd think you'd put a writer, but they have an alternative school provision there for young people who are just really having a hard time in education, and just for whatever reason education is kind of asking for too much of them. So they go into the football club a couple of times a week, so we have a writer working with them there. And we've also been working really closely with the Child and Adolescent Mental Health Service, CAMS, doing a lot of kind of work for young people from their outpatient service, but also the inpatients unit at the hospital, around creative activities and diversionary activities to support better mental health in young people as well. That's a very quick whistle stop of what we're doing. But a bit like Caroline was saying, we are a very small team. There's me and there's one other. But again, we rely on a whole team of freelance artists throughout the year, and we're always super keen to hear from new people. And please don't be put off by the fact that we're a book festival. As I say, it's not just authors and illustrators we want to hear from. We're super up for collaborating with lots of different people. So again, yeah, please do get in touch. And my final slide, there we go. We have a blog as well, which has lots of our communities programme on there. If you want to find out more information, it's ontheroad.edbookfest.co.uk, and you can get us on socials at edbookfest. And that's me.
Hi friends, thank you. So I'm Daniel, I'm Associate Director at the Scottish International Storytelling Festival, and also the day job, I suppose, is Head of Programming at the Scottish Storytelling Centre, which, if you've not been, is halfway down the high street between the castle and Holyrood Palace. Our festival is usually the last 2 weeks in October. So we are, yes, a week on Friday, kicking off with our first event. I've left some programmes over on the table if you'd like a browse. This is our 35th festival. 1989 was the first year. And we're now quite established as the world's largest festival for live storytelling. And by that, we mean this amazing art form of humans talking to each other, sharing stories and sharing experiences. So the festival, if I could start maybe with the open call. So in 2021, we realised post-COVID, when we'd had some time to think about our programming style and strategy, that it was quite narrow to the already narrow storytelling network and storytelling scene. So that year we launched our first open call. We're now in our 4th year of that, and have since then commissioned over 40 brand new pieces of longer form storytelling. So the storytelling that we all do around our kitchen table or pub table, or around a ceilidh, around the fireside, there's absolutely a space for that. That is the core of the storytelling experience. However, in the last decade or so, there has been this almost stepping into theatre but keeping that storytelling tradition within it of these longer form pieces, so these kind of hour-long or hour-and-a-half longer form storytelling pieces. So this year we have 8 new commissions to add on to those that we've already commissioned over the years. That process involves a call for creative ideas in the springtime, usually around a theme, and our theme this year was Bridges Between. So the theme is a prompt for creatives. For the lead artist being a storyteller working in Scotland, who was encouraged, if they wish, to work with other creative people. So we have commissions this year of working with a storyteller, working with film, working with Gaelic musicians, a whole spread of things, working for children as well as adults, of course. And that open call thing has opened up, massively opened up the network of people that we engage with, and we want to really, really encourage that. And finding that actually that storytelling can be a real core root of people's creative practice, whether that's through film, writing, children's work, whatever it might be. If you're able to tell a good story within that, great. We're trying to encourage more of that. So the open call process has been a good success, been a great success, and it's something we're pretty proud of and want to continue. I'll actually jump now to talk about the forum and the centre, because it's all part of what we do. So we're the only one of the Edinburgh festivals that's got Scottish in its name, Scottish International Storytelling Festival. Our festival operates throughout the whole country, running parallel to our dates for the 18th to the 31st of October. We've got the Orkney Storytelling Festival, there's the Wild Goose Festival in Dumfries, in Hillfoots. There's loads of satellite events that we support, and that's a hugely important part of our offer. It's not just in Edinburgh, it's throughout the whole country. The Scottish Storytelling Forum is the network of people who are interested in storytelling, might be storytellers themselves, might be school teachers, librarians, whoever it might be. You can be involved in this forum and contribute to the storytelling network, and we're looking for people to join. There's no cost, you join and you can be involved. Actually, there might be a cost. It's like £10 or something. So the forum itself, nationwide, we want people to be involved, and then the Storytelling Centre, which for me it exemplifies everything we want to do. It's a welcoming space. We want to encourage people to explore their creativity. You can use that space. You can come and take part in events. We've got workshops, we've got exhibitions, bookshop, a whole range of things. And it's built and we programme with the Ceilidh spirit in mind, that you're welcome there. You can come in and take part and explore things. So those 2 things, the forum and the centre, are vital to feeding in to the festival. The people that we work with, the creative people, and there's different people all the time, through the wider networks that we have, through traditional music and traditional dance, which are all based in the Storytelling Centre as well, under the umbrella of TRACS, which is Traditional Arts and Culture Scotland. There's lots to go investigate there. Our website is a mess of things that you can explore. But if you're a musician, a dancer, a storyteller, a traditional artist, we're bringing in traditional crafts maybe as well into these wider networks. Come and get involved. Which takes me on to the community programme, which again is a big part of our festival offer. If you look through our programme, the second half of it is called Go Local. And that is, again, it was a result of trying to encourage people to explore creative events in their area. So you don't have to travel to Edinburgh to take part. There are events in your area, in your part of Scotland. So Go Local is an attempt to encourage people to put on their own events and to encourage storytelling clubs or groups or schools to take part in their own events and put them on. And we facilitate that by supporting people through whichever way we can, sometimes financial, sometimes it's a bit of marketing support, whatever it might be, a bit of branding on the festival. But the other major one we have is called the Big Scottish Story Ripple. And that is our community programme in a nutshell. So that is an open process that people can apply to book a storyteller. Or you can apply as an individual storyteller. And the Story Ripple is that we have about 120 Ripple events happening this year. So imagine a school in Inverness, they want to book their local storyteller to work on a project about bridges between. We pay for the storyteller to go in and then the school or community group has to do a good deed back into their community, and that's the ripple effect. And we document these ripples, and they form part of our community activity. So it's lovely. It's lovely to see the feedback that comes through those events. So there's kind of three main strands. I would say that storytelling, we still find it's quite a niche art form. And through the open call process, we found that many other artists who maybe didn't think they were storytellers have since become storytellers. And we would encourage you very much to get involved in it, because it is, for me, the most amazing art form to enjoy. It's about humans communicating to each other. One final thing with our open call is tonight, in New York City, our first commission is having its opening night. Our first commission to go to New York is having its opening night. Now Marjani's A Fairy Tale is opening for 3 nights in New York tonight, which is a big step for us all. And we're very proud of Niall's work. Happy to talk to you all later if you wish. And also do pop into the Storytelling Centre if you're walking down the Royal Mile anytime. Pleased to see you. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Lynsey. I'm the Engagement and Access Manager at the Edinburgh Festival Fringe Society. The Edinburgh Festival Fringe started in 1947 at the same time as the International Festival. The International Festival is a programmed festival. 8 theatre companies turned up because they wanted to be in it, but they weren't invited, so they just performed anyway. And then they just kept coming and coming. And in 1958, or by 1958, the artists who were making the Fringe happen felt like it was all maybe getting a bit out of hand, and they formed the Edinburgh Festival Fringe Society to give a bit of structure and support to what was going on. So the Edinburgh Festival Fringe Society has 3 main aims. I think it's just an easy way to organise things. So we exist to support, advise and encourage anyone who wants to take part in the Fringe. We're there to assist audiences to work out what's going on, and we're there to shout about the Fringe to the rest of the world to make sure everybody knows that it's happening. And if you live in Edinburgh, sometimes it can be quite hard to not know that it's happening. And so my team work on various projects and programmes that try to make the Fringe Society's vision so the Fringe Society, I should say, has a vision of giving anyone a stage and everyone a seat, because everybody is welcome to take part in the Fringe. And my team work on various projects and programmes that try to make that a reality. And I have to try and juggle everything. Hold on. So we run projects and programmes which invite people who would not otherwise engage with the festival to come into the city and take part in it. And we also take the festival out to parts of the city where people don't engage. This is a picture from the Broomhouse Street Party in southwest Edinburgh this year, where we took a stage and we worked with people in Broomhouse to see what kind of, to programme what sort of artists they would like to see there. We also try to make the Fringe a more inclusive space, and we create new opportunities for people to get involved. So I'm just going to give you some examples, because we're in the middle of working out what we're going to do next and looking for funding. So I'm going to give you some examples of projects that are kind of a bit more in depth that we have done in the past, and some of them we hope to bring back again. We do lots of kind of more broad things as well, but the things that we do that specifically involve employing artists, I thought you might be interested in. So we have a lovely project called Fringe in a Fortnight, where we had 3 artists worked with 3 different schools to create a Fringe show in 2 weeks, and then in one afternoon they all performed them to each other, and it was absolute Fringe chaos. We have another project called Fringe in Schools, which is particularly for ASN schools. Working with ASN schools in the past, we've learned that the turmoil of Edinburgh in August is not always really worth it for the effort that an ASN student has to go through to navigate. And so instead, we placed a Fringe artist, and it was the first time we did this. We did it earlier this year. We placed a Fringe artist in an ASN school for 16 weeks, and they co-created a beautiful sensory experience, and I really wish I had put a photograph of that up. And we also, another project that we did this year was we sited a stage next to St Giles Cathedral on the High Street. The buskers very kindly gave us some space for a couple of days, and we made that stage available for schools and community groups to perform on. But as part of that, we also worked with LGBT Youth Scotland. In fact, we didn't work with them. LGBT Youth Scotland worked with a Fringe artist, and we just went along. They worked with that Fringe artist for 9 weeks to co-create a performance, which they then performed on the stage. So that's just a few examples of things that we do. We try to, with all of these projects, we try to structure them so there's a lead artist, a mentor, and an assistant artist if possible. We kind of learned that through the pandemic, where suddenly we had projects that people were being asked to deliver online and they didn't have that experience. And that's when we started working with giving artists kind of mentor artists to work with, and we've had really good feedback. And I think a lot of our projects have become opportunities for artist development, so as well as creating something special with the participants. Our project partners, whether they're teachers or young people, are usually involved in the recruitment process. I've put this in bold because I felt it was really important. So kind of the main prerequisite we have for any of our artist call-outs is that you need to have performed or be performing in a Fringe, because we kind of want to make sure that's what the point of the Fringe is. We want to be giving opportunities to artists who are performing in the Fringe. And we also usually look for an artist who is based locally and will be able to travel to where the project is taking place. We advertise our projects as far in advance as we can. They go through the Fringe social media the Fringe Society social media channels, Fringe Connect, which is an online art. Hang on, I've got the proper wording for it. This is very unslick. It is an online artist and industry hub where you can find other Fringe artists and industry colleagues, attend online events, and browse resources and opportunities. And so we put all of our own opportunities on there, but we also put them out through artist bulletins, which registered artists receive. And if you come and chat to me later, I can show you how to sign up for that. And was there anything else I wanted to make sure I covered? Oh, we try to make our call-out processes as accessible as we can. We have spoken versions of the call-outs as well as written and BSL interpreted. And we invite applications in whatever format is most helpful for you. All of that kind of goes out in the call out. And like everyone else, we're a really small team. So to be honest, you could just contact us and say and find out more about what it is we're looking for and what the best way for you to tell us that is. And we are hoping that any projects that we're doing will probably be putting call outs from January onwards for those. And that is everything from me.
Hi everyone, my name's Elle Haswell and I'm the Civic Curator at EAF. I'm really sorry that I couldn't be there today. I needed to be at another event, so I hope that this video will be okay to just give a bit of information about what we do at the festival. So at EAF, I curate and deliver a year-round civic creative programme informed by the needs of communities that we work with in Edinburgh, which is importantly delivered in partnership with organisations who are really committed to embedding activism and advocacy, particularly in queer and feminist communities, and who also support folk who experience consistent barriers to arts engagement. This is all done in collaboration with our amazing curator Elle Edmondson. We work together on a programme of festival events throughout the year and in August. So at EAF we aim to support different pathways into the creative industries. We also want to empower communities to improve health and well-being, to support access to economic benefits and also education within communities too. So I thought that the best way to sort of explain this is to outline some of our key goals that we want to achieve through civic programming, to really emphasise practically how we embed socially engaged practice at EAF. Firstly, I'd just like to highlight that we wish to build mutually trusting relationships between us as a team, with our charities, partners, freelancers, our residents of Edinburgh, and artists too. So within that, we aim to really maintain and evolve relationships with people who've been historically minoritized, making sure that we co-create environments for them to feel safe and visible and heard and be able to share their culture with us and with anybody viewing comfortably. So this year I've partnered with LGBT Youth Scotland for a project that celebrates queer culture in Edinburgh, connecting with a youth group called Beyond Gender that supports wellbeing for trans and non-binary young people. I'm also working closely on a new programme for 2025 with Rhubarba, who support early career artists of colour in Edinburgh and across wider Scotland to explore creative practice through artist talks, workshops and other events. It'll highlight marginalised histories and presence in Edinburgh, but importantly it'll lead and be co-created by folk with lived experience to create safer creative programming. Another aim that we want to create is a unique and meaningful creative experiences and opportunities that are really rooted in co-creation. So making sure that we provide everyone the best artistic and social experience possible. And I want to highlight that I can't possibly decide what community groups need for their well-being. We need to work really, really closely and not only just listen to our community groups, but allow them to steer the creative direction of projects to be able to fully embed this work that we do. I also wanted to ensure that engagement is really made safe or safer and more accessible to everyone. So particularly including people who've been previously excluded and marginalised, not just from the creative sector, but also from public spaces too. That means that ensuring that all of our public venues that we work with are accessible, not only just with step-free access, but thinking with broader barriers to access too. We've spoken a lot about how we can embed care at EAF, not just as aftercare following a project, but embedding that from the beginning of projects and throughout the whole of the delivery. So recently we've paired with therapists who can support folk who are systemically excluded, just to be able to reflect and receive support with their work that they're doing during the festival. We also really support people from Edinburgh who are facing low social or economic disadvantages. I particularly want to provide access to creative engagement to be able to support local wellbeing and integration. So in practice, that's thinking about how we really nurture our sense of community to be able to make change. So we've been working closely and have done even before I was in this role with some key communities in Wester Hailes, working with Score Scotland Women's Group, our EAF Adult Art Group, who are community residents of Wester Hailes, and the Community Wellbeing Collective too, who formed as an EAF commission back in 2022, and they've since went on to develop their own space, and they're just amazing. They also currently have a crowdfunder because they were just evicted from their space in Westside Plaza. So if anybody would like to support, you can find that via the Community Wellbeing Collective social media, or just contact me afterwards if you'd like to give them some support. I know it's a very brief overview to our work. I was given 5 minutes, but I hope that this really builds a picture of the importance behind each element of our programme and how socially engaged community practice is really at the core of EAF and how we want to take the festival going forward. If anybody wants to contact me or has any questions, you can reach me, at Elle, ELLE, at edinburghartfestival.com. So thank you. I hope that you enjoy the rest of the event, and I look forward to hopefully seeing some of you soon. Bye.